All right. Happy Wednesday. Happy National Physical Therapy Month. It is October and we are in the month that belongs to us where we get to share more and be able to celebrate what we do in the field of physical therapy. How are you doing over there, Santi?
I'm doing great. We're here in Florida. Some of our friends we know got hammered, right? And then so we want to first kind of just make sure we shout out to everybody that um, is out there that is going through a lot. We are here with you. If you need anything, please DM me or reach out to me, and we can do our best to try to help out and whether it was we pray for you or we send you something or whatever it is. Maybe we have contacts with you. We have a pretty large network. Um, if you can find a way to reach us and you ask for help, then I'll do my best to reach out and get things going. But
Absolutely.
even through disaster, one of the things about that is that life goes on. These are events that happen, and it's a time where we have to be there for each other, but at the same time also just through our actions show that the show must go on, and we must continue to push forward, in because that's what we do as physical therapists, right? And as PTs in October, our main thing is we help people get back to function, get back their life,
Mhm.
and we got to keep having the attitude. So I know we're going to talk a little bit about some of that, right?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, a lot of what we're seeing that happens in the world, things keep changing and things keep occurring around us, and a lot of us tend to get inundated with how much is happening around us that it makes it challenging for us to be able to look out for what we actually need to do, and we end up trying to take on too much. And in doing so, we could surround ourselves by all this information that is available to us, whether, it's just kind of what you find on the internet, or you're surrounded by experts that can kind of give you advice. And if you're following absolutely everybody's advice and, you kind of lose track of that, the intuition that you have within yourself to be able to trust yourself and to simplify it, then your nervous system and the way that you're able to show up in your life for yourself and in your life for the people around you, it becomes a lot more challenging. And so, Santi and I wanted to talk a little bit about ways that as primary care physical therapists, we are able to help equip people to trust their intuition again and to be able to, like filter out and be able to discern all of the information that comes our way to make it something that suits that individual client or that individual person for what they need. So like, for example, I have a couple of clients that I work part-time at another clinic, and there's two people that came onto my caseload who they're so revved up. I've tried this, I've tried that, and I've seen this person and that person, and my imaging says this, and nothing's wrong, but I'm still in so much pain, and nothing seems to be working. And they've been told by everybody what's wrong with them or that there's nothing wrong with them. And this individual ends up thinking, oh man, like it's all in my head. But I feel like something's really, really wrong. And being able to sit with them in that space and kind of explain to them, the multiple body systems that are involved in this process of healing and recovery, it's beneficial to them. And in the clinic, it's kind of challenging to essentially say like, hey, you just need a moment to be able to just chill out and exist and not have to have any agenda. Unfortunately, the clinic doesn't get reimbursed for it, but I had this individual literally just lay in the evaluation room with the lights off and a hot pack on, and I just had her doing some breathing activities and some visualization activities of, a place that really calms her, a place that really helps her to feel more like herself, more like a real person again.
Mhm.
And after that, she fell asleep. She fell asleep and took like a 10-minute nap, and we woke her up, and she felt so much better. She felt a lot less pain. She was able to get through the rest of her session, just because she was able to take that moment and take a pit stop. And I know that, as I learned an analogy from Santi about, a lot of us resonate with car mechanic type analogy. People just seem to get it, right? So
Mhm.
Santi had taught me, like, oh, it's like you've been running an Indy 500 all this time, or your body's been through a monster truck rally. We need to give you that much needed pit stop. And when people are able to wrap their minds around it, it helps them get a chance to slow down. Sometimes that means all of the lights, check engine and check your oil and everything comes on because now you finally have a moment to get it taken care of. But that equips the person to say, hey, you have to feel it to know what needs to be healed. You have to feel it to heal it. And being able to slow down and simplify it gave this individual a chance to say, like, oh, okay, now that I'm able to slow down a little bit more, I can kind of differentiate where I'm feeling more of this, discomfort or where this could be coming from. Sometimes the body offers memories and offers, its own intuition on what it needs. And, there's only so much that I can fit in that little bit of time in the clinic. But outside of that, and in the space that we have as primary care physicians, we can make that the whole session, and it's just education and calming and being able to help them rebuild their own intuition, the trust in their own body signals. And that's something that we're really blessed to do, which I know Santi was just sharing with me. You also had a client recently that you're able to do this with.
Yeah, exactly. Like, so first of all, let's I just want to kind of briefly define the difference between, because I know we keep saying like primary care, physical therapist, and some of you might
Right.
be like, what the heck are they talking about? Like, we're all PTs. What do you mean primary care, right? So part of this Physio Sensei Academy, part of this group, part of this community that we're trying to build is I want to create a community or a group of physical therapists and OTs as well. Anybody that wants to get off the system of sick care, as I call it, that is driven by insurance, that is driven by a company, that is driven by a hospital, who tells us how to treat or keeps us so busy just looking at numbers and looking at diagnosis that we lose track of like the person that's in front of us. And some of us are like, well, no, not really. But if you stop and think about it and you reflect more throughout the day in that system, you probably catch yourself either being frustrated that you can't do more, or you catch yourself frustrated that you didn't have enough time to explain something, or you catch yourself frustrated that they're not doing their home program that you gave them because they're so overwhelmed and you just gave them whatever the protocol was, right? Because that's what you do with all the back pain or whatever, right? So that's the system that we all are either in. And then there's some of us like myself and Sarah like that. I at some point said I need to just get away from that because I truly want to help individuals through building relationships, through having the time to be able to educate them, and also so that way they truly understand why I'm giving them that what I call a home empowerment program. So HEP to me, the way that I've redefined it is a home
Mhm.
empowerment program because I want to empower them to understand the why their body's falling apart, why they're having pain. So the contrast between a standard physical therapist and what we're trying to create here as a primary care physical therapist is somebody that eventually has the confidence to go off on their own, and create their own system, their own wellness and healthcare system, with our help, with our community, with networking with dietitians and other people. So I hope you understand when we say primary care physical therapist is that's the transition we're trying to take some of you guys into. If you don't want to, you're still going to learn a lot. That's
Mhm.
totally fine. But just understand that we're going to be talking a lot about primary care physical therapists because as that, I get to give you the example of this patient that I had this week, right? So I think I did a live, I'm not sure if it was here or Instagram, but like, no, I think it was here where I was able to do 3 evals in one session, right? So that whole family signed up with my program, right? We're not calling it rehab. They're just coming in to, one wants to be able to get up from chairs. The other one has a Parkinson's and severe scoliosis. Excuse me. And the son, he's just super stressed because he's taking care of both parents, and he just doesn't have enough time for himself, and he's just trying to like help himself out as well as um, get into that peaceful state to be able to have the patience to help out his parents, right? So they all come in at the same time, right? And because I'm able to spend quality time with them, they are still understanding their process of recovery by the old system. So I find myself the last two sessions, we've had two sessions where one one session where I basically offered like my services, and then finally we did the eval, and then they had the follow-up. Now we're doing another follow-up tomorrow. But both sessions, they keep texting me, Santi, I have this new pain, I have this, I can't sleep. And and like, what about this? Like, I've opened up that opportunity for them to feel safe with reaching out to me. And it can be hard because I find myself saying the same thing over and over again, right? But as that primary care PT, when they come in tomorrow, all I need to do is just remind them again of like, remember we talked day one that at first you're probably going to have a little bit of soreness from. I'm just having them breathe, and sometimes people get sore from breathing because their inner core, right? And we can do a whole session on like how to engage the inner core through breathing. But when the body starts to function better, they can get sore. Or when you start helping to remove some of that inflammation, then there's other tissue below that now starts sending signals of pain that they can perceive as different. So I have to explain that to them, right? So nobody out in the field is able to do that. No doctor, no therapist, nobody else is able to do that, which is why they're trusting me with their care, but at the same time, they're showing me their frustration with the care, even the one that I'm providing, because they're used to like get rid of my symptom, right? And I'm trying to do is like encourage them and empower them of how to reconnect them with their body again, right? And when Sarah talks about that intuition, it's not like I'm looking up a book or I'm looking at technique or I'm looking at a tool. I'm literally just tuning into that client for that time that I have with them, and letting that communication, that back and forth, and that active listening to trust my gut and go with whatever I feel like I need to give them at that moment for that specific moment for until the next time we see each other. Not what are their long-term goals versus short-term goals? How much range of motion do I have to get them, right? So that's a contrast in a way of like how we need to start thinking and seeing ourselves as these expert and master communicators that are going to help. There's plenty of sick people out there, to empower them to regain their function and regain their health. That's a problem that I've taken on. And I think as PTs, we're like the best to be able to do that because of how we are, let's say, perceived, right? We're the function people, we're
Right.
the get back to goals like golf, or I want to be able to like roll in bed without pain or whatever, right? So like we can take that, but also transition it into like empowering people on how to regain their wellness, right, in their health. So
Yes,
it,
absolutely. And so
and
it's
it's challenging,
it is.
but then it's fun because every appointment, it's like new, and you have to be creative, and you have to and you get to like go from that moment on, rather than just cookie cutter treatments for the whole year, right? And then you burn out, right? So I think it's fun.
Yeah, and it's more fulfilling for us as physical therapists. I mean, that's why we got into this field in the first place, is
Yeah.
because we wanted other people to feel empowered in their bodies, whether we ourselves, had gone through physical therapy and had an experience where we realized what the process and how freeing it can be to achieve the goals that you have set in place after an injury. Or maybe, we've had somebody in our lives that's gone through PT and we've seen the difference that can make. And now we have the opportunity to take it a step further, and to be able to really create a bridge between, just what is standard and what's going to help people live out free and confident and fully empowered in their bodies. So if there was anything in this live that really resonated with you, that you're curious about, have more questions on how Santi or I apply this in our practice, and anything you want us to talk about in a future live, feel free to drop it in the comments so that we can make sure that we're answering questions and we're giving you as many resources and tips and tricks and strategies to help you grow and build your clinical intuition so that you can better fulfill the goals and dreams, and help your clients meet their goals and dreams, with the care that you're going to be providing for them.
Excellent. I mean, you're going to have a more fulfilling career if you return to that reason of why you became the physical therapist. Like Sarah said, like, we want to help people, I don't think many of us said, I want to become a physical therapist because I want to make money, because some people think they make a lot of money, but like, it's solid, but really it's not. It's very it's not going to get you very far. Let's just say, right, in today's economy. But in general, we did it to help people, and just like we try to empower patients, we are building a community to empower you to feel like you do have the power to help people in a grander way than just give them a protocol or give them a bunch of stretches and exercises, right? So if that's you, keep doing that. That's cool. You keep learning from us. If you are the type of person that wants to get back to like, hey, I want to go out there and like do my thing as a physical therapist and make a difference and become an expert in the community, then stay here and we're going to teach you how to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. Otherwise, we're keeping everybody in their prayers that are in the wake of the disaster that is taking over on that East Coast there. And if you need any support, reach out. As always, we're wanting to try to connect people that can provide support where we can provide support in real life ways, as well as in the clinical growth that we're trying to achieve here. But until next week, I am Sarah, the Physio Sensei, and this is
the Physio Sensei.
And hope you guys have a good rest of your week. We'll see you next time.